As business meetings, even internationally, are now starting to once again gather pace, I'd like to look at some of the things you need to consider when you're meeting up with partners, maybe for the first time. Now, the first one of those is the proper use of names and titles. So here, I don't just mean how do you pronounce the name of the person that you're meeting, but also, do you need to address them by some kind of title? So that might mean that you say Mr. plus their surname. In some countries, that might mean that you say Miss plus the first name. And for example, in Germany, you might say Herr Direktor, or in China, you might address somebody by their surname first, then their first name. It's important that you get this use of names and titles right, because otherwise it can feel offensive to the people that you're talking to. And just remember, it's almost always acceptable to say to somebody, please could you explain to me exactly how your name is pronounced, rather than just to bodge it and then look embarrassed. Following on from that, think also about the appropriate greetings. So would you say to somebody, for example, how do you do, which is a very British way of greeting somebody, or do you give them a hand to shake, or do you press hands together? Do you make a kind of short bow, as maybe would be the case in Japan? You have to think about what level of formality is required for your meetings in order to make a great first impression. If we're talking about making a great first impression, then it's also a good idea to learn a few phrases in your prospect's native language. And these can also be included, for example, at the beginning of any presentation, or if you've got something that you put in the entranceway, if they are visiting you, maybe in your company reception area, that you say, welcome, Mr. Smith from Wang Corporation, in their native language, so that they really do feel like you welcome them. Find out and respect the rules of keeping an appropriate distance from whoever you're meeting with. If that's Europeans, that's probably the kind of distance that two people need to make a handshake without taking a step towards each other, which is probably about 1.5 meters. For Asians, it might be around 2 meters. But for example, in the Arab world, then this could be much closer. So you need to make sure you know, so that you don't actually just take a step back if you feel like somebody is crowding a little bit into your space. Make sure you understand what are the rules about exchanging business cards. Now, of course, business cards may in certain circumstances feel a little bit old school, but on the other hand, if you're at a trade fair, then having a business card of somebody, even if you make a photo of it afterwards, this can really help you to remember who the person was. But in some countries, for example, in Japan, if somebody gives you a business card, you need to take it with both hands and you need to look at it, read the information. Don't just stick it in your back pocket and show disrespect for that business card. So make sure that you know how to behave when handed a business card, and whether you are expected to have business cards to hand to your partner. Make sure that you understand the gift-giving culture in the country that you're visiting, or of the country that your partners, your visitors, are coming from. It can be really a minefield, because it's not just about the type of gift which is appropriate. It's, first of all, the question, is a gift appropriate? Yes or no? Some countries it is, some countries it isn't. What type of gift do you give? When in the meeting? Do you give it at the beginning, as you arrive? Do you give it at the end? And is it something that you present in public, or should you give it in private? If you receive a gift, do you open it in front of the person who gave it to you, or should you wait until later? Whatever that is, make sure that you investigate it before your meetings in order to avoid embarrassment. If you want to expand internationally, subscribe to my YouTube channel and sign up for my weekly newsletter and blog post at the link in the comments.